It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer that I picked up in Sainsbury's as part of their 4 for 3 nectar deal. Cost me £3.50 on its own, but with the nectar card you can get this beer on a 4 for 3 for about £2.80 a can. So you're buying 4 cans, you're only paying for 3. You all know that, but if I'm talking to people from other parts of the world and they're like, what on earth is a 4 for 3? I've just explained it. This is by Vocation Brewery, special edition, Mojito Cocktail Sour at 4.5% ABV, and it's described as mint, tangy and lime. Oh, I remember the days when Vocation came storming onto the scene of craft beer when they launched beer into Tesco, and it was a blueberry waffle beer that was absolutely incredible. And that one beer that launched into Tesco probably 7 years ago now, 6-7 years ago, when the supermarket started to dabble in craft beer, when that beer hit, it was like the launch of Vocation. I had Vocation, but I've tried Vocation beers before. They were a small brewery brewing up north of the UK, doing their own thing, minding their own business. I think a YouTuber actually went to collaborate with them at one stage. A beer tuber went to collaborate with them. And they had a tiny little kit, and then all of a sudden, within a year or two of them doing that collaboration, they just exploded onto the scene. They really did with this, and it was the blueberry waffle, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic for a beer. So what I'm trying to say is Vocation launching a blueberry waffle beer into Tesco, which was fantastic. They haven't really changed much. I think what they're trying to do here is they've launched this beer into Sainsbury's. They probably have other beers in Sainsbury's, and they have previous too. But they're trying to recreate that. They're trying to recreate that moment. They're trying to recreate that kind of, that buzz that they once had. And I tell you what, it's happened to me too. And it happened to me with the same supermarket, Tesco. My story was way back in 2012. Way back. And we had that similar buzz, that similar launch of a beer that everybody was talking about. It was, of course, and I still have the original bottle somewhere. Hang on. This is original-ish. Yeah, I think that is the original bottle, actually. There we go. That launched into Tesco. Look at the date on that, June 2013. That launched into Tesco as it was looking like that at 6% ABV, Barry Island IPA. I brewed that with Brains Brewery. It went national with Tesco. Just one of those things. Sometimes you can light a bonfire in life and it goes out. Sometimes you light a bonfire in life and it rages out of control. And it happened with me, it happened with Vocation with their blueberry waffle. And I just feel like that since that moment, Vocation had a good few years. Vocation had a good few years in the sunshine. But over the last 2 years, I would say, I've not really been, and this is being polite, I've not really enjoyed many of the Vocation beers. They were way too sweet. They were bringing out imperial stouts that were like massively sweet beers. They brought out that Celebrations box, which that was probably at their height. That was probably peak Vocation, when they were literally everywhere. You'd go to Brew London and they had big stands and they were doing great things and everybody wanted to try Vocation. That was peak Vocation. That was, and since it's all gone a little bit wrong since the Celebrations beers that they brought out. It all went a bit kind of sideways from there, which is a shame. But let's see what we have here. One Finger Whitehead, good levels of carbonation. Hazy straw coloured beer. Aroma. I love a mojito in the Spanish sunshine. Fantastic, nothing better. In a beer, a little bit of malt, which is important. Plenty of lime. Plenty of mint. Smells good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. It's always good to try new things. It's always good to push the boat out. It's always good to express yourself as brewers. But it has to work. It has to work. And I'm kind of... My brain is in overdrive right now. It's in overdrive because I'm getting the basics of beer. I'm getting crisp malt. And that lovely, when you drink sour beer, you have that lovely finish to a sour beer where all that sourness is out of the way. You get that initial hit of sourness. In this case, it's mint and lime flavour. But once that dissipates, you're left with this lovely kind of bare bums, slightly wafer-like biscuity flavour that runs and runs and runs on the palate. This has this in abundance. So essentially, they've achieved what they wanted to achieve here, and that's make a lime mojito sour beer. Because of that kind of crisp malt finish on the back end. There's going to be a lot of people who have not even picked this can up because it's pink and because it looks weird and wacky. They've walked past Sainsbury's or walked through Sainsbury's, they've seen the can and they've gone, no. Just for appearance alone, I'm not picking that beer up. But for the people who have got past that, and for the people who have given this a go, I think they have probably stumbled across something here which is very interesting. They've not shied away from the fact that they wanted to create a mojito in a beer. That was the point. That's what they've gone for. So it's my job to stand back and say to you, have they achieved it? Is it mojito? Is it beer? Yes, it is. They've done it. Is it worth £3.50 as a single can? Is it worth £2.80-ish on a 4 for 3 deal? I think just to try it once. I think you try this beer once and you go, do you know what? That was a bit of fun. That was interesting. And I think that's where we lose. I've stepped right back away from buying supermarket. I'll buy the launch beers. I'll buy the Sainsbury's. I'll go and buy the Tesco vampire beer that they've just launched with, who is it? I think it's maybe who did the might be Northern Monk or someone. Anyway, I'll go and buy that. I'll go and review that. But in terms of, I used to buy and drink a lot of supermarket craft beer. I used to buy the disco forklift truck and drink 330 milliliter cans of that. But I don't anymore. I haven't for a long time. I fell out of love with it. And I fell out of love with it because of the quality of the canned craft beer that they wanted to charge £3 or £3.50 a can for. It just, for me, it just wasn't good enough. The quality wasn't good enough. So I stepped back and I took myself away from it. But in life, when you take yourself away from it and when you kind of just ignore it, because I ignored it. I wasn't interested. When you open that door back up and have a little look after all the excitement's died down, and you're basically going back into it with a blank piece of paper, a blank page, then actually what we have here is something really quite interesting. They've created here a mojito in a beer, and it tastes okay. Seven out of 10. 7 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.